Good evening. Welcome to episode 86 of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful, comfortable, and now chilly-like conditions of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the show out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and as well as on Substack. Hopping right into this episode 86 will be dedicated to NFL Week 8 recap. I didn't recap all of the games. I'm still checking out some of the games actually through my NFL Plus subscription and some of the All 22 films. So I still got to rewatch a couple of them. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the games that I did watch, the analysis I did have, and some of the things I wanted to point out, and some of the things you hear me talk about on separate episodes, and maybe possibly some shorts that you may have seen connected with the show. Hopping right into it, we're going to start off with the beginning of Week 8, which was Thursday Night Football, which would have been the Vikings and Rams. If any of you have seen the short that I posted in the videos talking about Cinderella's slipper has fallen off, I'll be chronologizing the detail of what exactly, in full detail, what I meant about that statement. Talking about the Minnesota Vikings and the slide that they're currently on, and some of the things I think that's come up that's really kind of hurt their team to a lesser degree. And I'll also be talking about the Rams who won the game. And if I'm correct, the final score was 30-20. So the Rams won the game. I'll also be discussing on some of the things I thought was great from them, some of the things I thought they overcame, some of the things I thought that were dope, and something to look forward to for both teams down the stretch. Hopping into that game, though, in a nutshell, the O'Connell Bowl lived up to the hype. I was very happy to see that both teams, it started out tight. It was the first half, first quarter essentially, ended 14-14. It was a tight game. You kind of knew the Rams weren't going to. You knew they were going to be competitive. You just didn't know if they were going to pull out the game or not. The Vikings, you assumed, were going to pull out the win, albeit, as I've said though, we have seen this quarterback slide as of late, and his play has slid as of late. Even though he's put the yards and the production has been there, some of the key moments, the things is, that the average fan would miss in the midst of the ESPN or NFL Network or wherever they consume their highlights at, these are little things that sometimes get missed. Case in point, when you got a game that starts out aggressive and competitive, and it's tied at halftime, Justin Jefferson, at some point is going to break loose. A guy like Sam Darnold's got to trust in him. He's got to give him the ball because, let's be honest, outside of Jordan Addison, and you got T.J. Hockenson, he's injured. That's your go-to. Needless to say, Justin Jefferson, 8 receptions, 115 yards, 14.4 per catch. And to keep this in mind, that how important his production was for the Vikings, the second leading receiver was Aaron Jones, who was the running back, 2 receptions for 37 yards. That's not going to get it done. I mean, your production from your backup wide receivers, come on now. Jordan Addison, 2 catches, 22 yards. You got him bitching about production. You see here in the comments, he's talking about, I need to get the ball, or you're free 3. Here's the thing, man. When you playing with Justin Jefferson, you ain't getting no damn 7 to 12 targets a fucking game. I don't even know what we're talking about here. Shit. Actually, yeah, you're right. You seem locked up. You seem bottled up because 2 for 22? What the fuck is that? And let's be real. He had 3 targets. You got to make the most of the opportunities, man. You're not Justin Jefferson. You got to make the most of the opportunities when you get them. And that just causes dissension and just shows you're not as mentally strong as you need to be. Because for you to be a Biletnikoff Award winner, for you to be a guy that was a good receiver in college, went from Pitt, went to USC, played well with Caleb Williams, come into the league, you teamed up with Justin Jefferson, and you, Jordan Addison, are acting like this as if you're supposed to be commanding more targets or just as many. I don't know. It was weird. And then also, too, something else that I think Minnesota is, it's not been harped on as much because they were 5-2 and they've been pretty good and they've kind of started out with that real hot start. They settled for a lot of long drives, especially in this game. They settled for a lot of long drives in the second half, and their inability to convert to third downs. They were 2 of 7 on third down. That's just not going to get it done. You're not beating any competent defense with that. And their offensive line play has been garbage. The Vikings' offensive line play has been downright trash. And then to add insult to injury, they lose Christian Darrisaw. Reports show Sunday morning he's out for the season. I mean, that doesn't fucking help. So if you're the Vikings, yeah, it's just, bad goes worse. You thought they were cursed in the offseason with all the tragedy and injuries that they were dealing with. And now even more, you're just like, okay, they kind of overcame or persevered through some of that. And some of this they're just not going to be able to overcome. And I just truly feel like their quarterback play, like I said, Sam Darnold has not played horrible this year. He's played very competently and very good football. However, the moments, the things that separate the good from the great and the great from the elite, it's those, can you convert the 3rd and 9? Can you convert the 3rd and 11? Can you get us down in distance when we need it? Can you get the 10-yard crossing route and possibly, maneuver the ball and put the ball in a position where the receiver could just go and get it, and he has the capability to turn it into a 15-yard, 20-yard gain. Those are the things that matter. And Sam Darnold just is not capable of that. That's been one of the knocks on his game since he's been in the NFL. Mobile, big, athletic, definitely has a hell of an arm, but decision-making is suspect. Needless to say, though, I don't want to harp too much just on that, but I definitely want to talk on Aaron Jones, though. Aaron Jones was making plays throughout the game. It was kind of like, he had a nice little blend of run pass production, 19 carries, 58 rushing yards, 2 receptions, 37 yards, as I previously stated. The Vikings wide receivers, like I said, they didn't play well, and they damn sure didn't play as well as the Rams wide receivers, which is, I'll touch on that in a second. But, it was just a lot for Aaron Jones to have to put on his back, especially coming back off a hip injury and, being an older guy. It's just a lot. But nonetheless, I definitely want to talk about the Rams. The Rams, with all the trade rumors surrounding Cooper Kupp, okay, and speculation, and all the things they had going on, the fact that they pulled out that win was gutty. It speaks to the character of their coach and their team. He's got to give McVay credit for that and give his team credit. Cooper Kupp, the man of the hour, the man who was in all the speculation, 5 receptions, 51 yards, 1 touchdown. Puka Nacua, though, coming back off injury, 7 receptions, 106 yards. Got to give him a shout out. Definitely coming back off the injury. But the wide receiver production as a whole from the Rams was just stupendous. I mean, you had 25 receptions, 279 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The Rams collectively, their group, their receiving core, I must give them credit. Matt Stafford has utilized every single guy on the damn roster, and everybody's contributed. So I got to give him props for that. The rushing attack was even solid. You had Kyron Williams. He had 23 carries, 97 rushing yards. So again, got to give him props for that. You got to understand that it wasn't like the Vikings defense shit the bed. I mean, Byron Murphy had an interception. And Sam Darnold, again, he didn't play horribly. 18 to 25, damn good. 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. But, the O-line play, the wide receiver play, and then God knows the face mask penalty that wasn't called, where the man's neck was damn near broken in the end zone. They called safety. But again, the inability to complete third downs. 4 failed in the second half. Four failed third downs for Sam Darnold on the Vikings in the second half. Not going to get it done. And the Rams' just offensive attack was ready. Defensively, they kind of got lucky on some plays. Didn't complete some passes. Sam Darnold missed opportunities. Because those 4 missed opportunities on third down was just bad passes, or throwing to a guy in coverage, or because in all honesty, like, the opportunities were there. He just didn't make the most of them. Yeah. And like I said, I kind of felt like this was going to happen with the Vikings because, after the Jets, after having that lead most of that game, when the Vikings played the Jets a couple weeks ago, then 2 straight losses, it makes them a bit suspect. And the defense. That defense. They got away with a lot of disguising, a lot of mixing up of the coverages in the fronts. Credit to Brian Flores, credit to that staff, credit to the players for adapting. However, adjustments it looks like has been made. And this defense, and just to give you some stats, 8th in total touchdowns, 8th in total defense, 8th in total defense, 21st in yards, 30th against the pass, 3rd in rush defense. That's fool's gold. I mean, you suck against the pass. You suck. You're great against the run, but you literally suck against the pass, and that means everyone can throw on you. So that means in every situation that you think you have a lead, you really don't. And this is with Byron Murphy in the defensive backfield. So, and and the production that he gives you, it's just not enough in today's NFL, especially in the NFC. It's just not enough. I definitely would say look for the Vikings to add another piece on defense, whether pass rusher or corner. They're definitely going to be adding another piece. Make no mistake about it. You think that was going to be enough, especially when you lose to a team that you were supposed to beat, who was talking about giving up one of their star players literally at the beginning before the damn game started? We're going to see. Like I said, Cinderella slipper is falling off. Browns Ravens. Now, I have a little bit further context. I kind of touched on this game a little bit yesterday. I didn't get a chance to go in depth in the way that I wanted to, but I'm going to so now. This should be a learning lesson to all owners or, guys who are GMs or potential GMs, up and coming owners and GMs, guys who are waiting in the wings, whatever. Guys within this realm of business and with this mindset. Just because you give a guy a bunch of guaranteed money, right? If you fuck up, don't double down. Admit it. Admit it. Move forward. Make the better decision. Deshaun Watson has played, some say arguably, some people say Daniel Jones. I'll argue Deshaun Watson probably has been worse. Deshaun Watson has played some of the worst football that an NFL quarterback can display in the NFL this year. I mean, it's not even arguable. I mean, he literally, I believe, especially after looking at yesterday's game, he handicapped the Browns offense. Now, I'm not saying that the Browns are going to necessarily rip off a tear and make the playoffs with Jameis Winston and they're going to catch a bunch of teams off guards. But I can tell you this much. If they can continue to show competent offensive football play, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. Let's just get started on the basics. I'm going to get into Jameis Winston's numbers, which he played marvelous. I'm going to get on some of the stats in the game, but here's the thing that I want you to really harp on. I want you to, if you're wherever you're sitting, wherever you're watching, hopefully you're home, hopefully you're off work, but if you're not, if you're at work, take a pen and paper, take your phone, and I want you to write down this number, 8. Looking for quick and unlimited access to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast? Well, look no further than on Apple Podcasts. Listen to the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast on Apple Podcasts. QR code is available for quick access to the channel. Also, check us out on Spotify as well. Thanks. Have a great day. I want you to take that number 8, right? And I want you to put a slash, and I want you to put 15, 1-5, right? Now, why do I want you to put 1-5? 8/15. 8 would be the number of third downs the Cleveland Browns have converted in yesterday's game. The 15 would be the amount of times they were on third down and the opportunities they had. And obviously they converted 8 of 15, which is good. I mean, 7 they didn't, but 8 they did. Pretty good. Now, with that, keep in mind, and I looked this up, the Cleveland Browns in the past 2 weeks, Deshaun Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Deshaun Watson. You can even go back to the game prior to that with Philly, Deshaun Watson, where he didn't convert a damn third down. Going into the Eagles game, the Browns were 12 of 66 on third down. And against the Bengals, which was the game prior to Philadelphia, so we got 4 games. 4 games that I went over. Bengals, Commanders, Eagles, and then Ravens. They converted only 2 against the Bengals. 0 against Philadelphia, 2 against the Bengals, and against the Commanders, I think they converted like 1 or 2. So get what I'm saying to you. They had completed more third downs in this game against Baltimore than they had completed in the past 2 games combined. Jameis Winston was the problem. Excuse me, Deshaun Watson was the problem. Jameis Winston was the solution. It's evident as fuck. I mean, this is ownership saying we're going to put a guy in there because we're paying him max money. But regardless of what, doesn't fucking matter if he plays well. Doesn't fucking matter. We're paying him. So he's got to stay in there because we got to save face. This is bullshit. This team could have been in a better situation. Thank God they weren't against Philadelphia. But this team could have been in a better situation, a better offensive footprint or standing. And I mean, like, you played the Ravens, one of the best teams in the NFL, and granted, division game. You know them. You know what they're running. But still, that just competent quarterback play. And this team won. You know what I mean? Like, and granted, I'll get you the final score here. Because, I mean, it was an amazing game. I want to say it was 29-24. It was an amazing game. Yes, 29-24 Cleveland over Baltimore. But Jameis Winston was 27-41, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, it don't get no simpler than that. The quarterback play was the problem. Talked about the third down conversions. I thought also too, one of the other things that was needed. You got Nick Chubb back, 16 carries, 52 yards. Again, him in the mix of Deontay Foreman. I like that. Cedric Tillman showed up. That was definitely good. Jerry Jeudy made an appearance. That was definitely good. Elijah Moore showed up, which I think is different, even in Njoku. Which just shows me, if you had competent quarterback play throwing to these guys, your offense has better production. Hands down. Hands down. So, I mean, again, and you did have Jameis fumble the ball yesterday, but he's not perfect. Regardless of the matter, though, is he played better than Deshaun Watson. And, I mean, Cleveland inadvertently dodged the bullet. They're not going to have to worry about Deshaun Watson the rest of this year, but they damn sure going to have questions to answer next year because you've had Joe Flacco now and Jameis Winston come in, and they've played better in this offense, better than Deshaun Watson has, and he's the one with the bag. You just got to admit sometimes you bite off a little bit more than you can chew. They fucked up. They fucked up. The Browns fucked up on this. They got to admit it. They got to admit it. I mean, as far as the Baltimore Ravens, tough loss. Shout out to Lamar again. Look at that. 23 of 38, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, playing like the MVP. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 73 yards, 6.6 a run, 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers showed up again, 7 catches, 115 yards. And I like the ball distribution that I saw from the receivers there. You got Isaiah Likely getting in on the action. You got Aguilar getting in. He scored. Mark Andrews scored. You saw the ball distribution. Justice Hill was getting the catch or 2. The thing that the thing that kind of got me though was the defense kind of. Something that is not really getting mentioned a lot with the Ravens this year is that the defense has kind of let them down. I know for a fact last year they were great. I know Mike McDonald was in Seattle. I know that they lost some guys to free agency. I know they did. I mean, they're not horrible, but there's a considerable difference between that defense last year and this defense this year. And I get it. You didn't win with these guys last year, so you had to come into. I mean, you didn't win with those guys last year, so this year you had to come in with a new approach, new take. But it's going to be interesting, man, because they showed some things in this game where you can attack Baltimore in different ways, where it's like spreading them deep is not necessarily the problem. Marlon Humphrey looks a little older. Nate Wiggins didn't play yesterday, so that definitely helped. They're in a situation like a lot of teams. Corner or 2 go down, situation gets a little, bleak. So we'll see. But like I said, tough loss for the Ravens. But the Ravens ain't out of it. Like I said, they'll be back. That was just a tough division loss. But definitely shout out to the Browns for how they played and the resolve that they showed. But now, getting to the nuts and bolts of the issue. Sunday Night Football. 49ers and Cowboys. Must I say, was a fucking snoozer for at least the good part of the first quarter. And then, of course, right on cue, Dak Prescott throws an interception. And then my attention is right back into it. And yeah. I mean, you know what's bad? It's bad when you're watching two teams that you hate as an Eagles fan. You know, it's not an Eagles fan. I hate both of them teams. But, you know, it is what it is. I hate Dallas more than I hate San Francisco. When you're watching that game and you're looking at it and you're like, whew, okay, this is not good. I mean, San Fran is nowhere near full strength, and Dallas is not putting them away. And, you know, you always hear the rumors of, all we got to do is just wear Dallas down. You've heard San Francisco 49ers say this for years. All we got to do is wear Dallas down, and we got them. And lo and behold, case in point again. You start the game off, both offenses look suspect. Okay, 49ers get downfield, kick a field goal, doing like they've been doing all season, settling for 3 instead of scoring 6, and then getting the extra point. No, you know, and again, didn't start off hot. However, second quarter, you kind of saw Brock Purdy still didn't have his footing there. He was kind of pressing. You know, he was kind of uncomfortable throwing the guys he ain't familiar with, not really doing what he needed to do. You kind of see it. It was there. And then you notice, though, fourth down, they weren't converting it. They had that pass to Debo. Debo doesn't catch it. So, you know, momentum is in Dallas' hands. You know, at this point now, Dallas feel like, all right, we got the ball. We're going to do something with it. And they drive downfield, and they get into the end zone. They get into the red zone, and they set up for a field goal. So these teams are playing the same game for like a good, 15 to 20 minutes. All right, let's drive downfield and kick field goals. Okay. 10-3 Dallas at that point. Dallas has the lead. Dallas has it. Okay? Halftime. You got San Francisco breaking this fucking game open with 21 unanswered points. In the third quarter alone. That was the football game. It was a game. And then right after Kyle Shanahan made those adjustments to what Mike Zimmer was doing, the fucking game was over. I mean, make no mistake about it. The moment those adjustments were made, the fucking game was over. They were coming with that little 6-man front. They had it where they had Dallas hemmed up, where Dallas thought they had San Francisco hemmed up. Like, yeah, Brock Purdy don't know what's coming. And as soon as he said, they even talked about it. After halftime, where he was like, listen, look, as soon as they come out with that front, this is what you're going to do. Check to the bootleg. They started hitting them with that play action. They were fucking killing Dallas. And then they got these small-ass linebackers for the Cowboys. Then they got the D lineman again. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Dallas is not a good football team right now. And they just, ended the quarter with no energy. They just looked like a team that was just beat. And then, this stat just blew my fucking mind. This floored me. Dallas had finally got its first down after 23 minutes. So think about what I'm saying. The offense had not had a first down in 23 minutes. Cowboys' offensive line looked small and undersized. Ass. And the receivers just didn't get any separation. That shit looked bad too. But you know Dak, you know Dak, you know what he does. Garbage time, start patting them stats, making it look better than what it was. Him and CD start driving, making some plays. CD scores back. CD scores. It's 17-27. So now, it's a game. Then all of a sudden, San Fran drives downfield. They don't score as usual, settling for field goals as they usually have been doing throughout, the fucking, season so far at this point, settling for field goals. So now it's only 30-17. Still technically a game. Cowboys ain't out of it. You get two big games by CD Lamb. Then he scores. Let's be real. He finally gets to 100. His first 100-yard game of the season, which was even crazier to even say. First 100-yard game of the season. And it seemed like the Cowboys were awake. No, it was just padding stats. It was just padding stats. They weren't back. The game was 24-30, and you just kind of feel like, okay, Dallas' defense is going to step up and make a play. They've come all the way back. They made some hay. They made some headway. They got it. They get the sack. They get the sack. And Dallas just does nothing with it. Just does nothing with it. San Fran gets the ball back, pretty much sits on the clock, ball game. I just don't understand if you're the Cowboys. You're looking at it, you're kind of like, well, you knew they weren't going to be talented this year. They weren't going to be as talented as they've been the past few years. But to be this bad, where they can't stop the run, nor can they run. I mean, Dak with the multi-interception game, and I'm going to pull that stat up because they brought that up last night, and I thought that shit was remarkable. But, it was crazy to think that this guy who is commanding the money he's commanding, he has so many multi-interception games. And I'm like, wow. But again, Jerry put him and that team in that situation. They really had no choice, so be that as it may. But yeah, we're going to have that stat pulled up. But again, Dak played like shit. And there we go. For the first time in his career, Prescott had a third consecutive game with multiple interceptions. He now has 8 this season. He threw 9 all of last year. Horrible. Not good at all. Not good at all. And this is to let you know, this is how deep this is. He has played 22 games in his career where he has had played with 2 intercepted or more passes. I mean, that's from 2016 up until now. So that's just a lot of interceptions, a lot of multiple interception games. They got problems. Can't block, can't stop the run, can't run. Receivers can't get separation. And they came off the bye week. Keep that in mind. They came off the bye week talking about they were prepared and they were focused. And yeah. It's going to be very interesting. But the crazy part is if you're Dallas, you don't pull this win out against Atlanta, you got Philly, and then you got, hold on. Their schedule is fucking crazy. The next couple games. Let me pull it up for you right here. Yeah, I mean your next couple games. Let's just call it for what it is. You got, let's see, right here. Let's go to 2024. Oh my God. You got the Falcons. You got Philly. You got the Texans, and then you got the Commanders. That's their next 4 games. So their season's going to be dictated right here, right now. And they already lost last night, so it ain't looking hot. Pretty much wrapping that up, going into the game for tonight for Monday Night Football. It's going to be Giants and Steelers. We're all going to get to see the annihilation of Danny Dimes on national television. Steelers, I definitely got the Steelers winning this game. There's no way in hell the Steelers don't win this game. Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, they're winning this game. That defense for the Giants is atrocious. Giants are pretty much reeling, ready for the season to get over. Steelers are trying to pad stats and pack wins on pretty much at this point. And Russell Wilson needs another game to knock the rust off before they really start ascending into the teeth of their schedule. So definitely got the Steelers winning this game. Looking at it, I don't see the inactives yet. Mike Garafolo, if I'm looking at right here on Twitter, Mike Garafolo said that Justin Fields will be the team's 3rd emergency quarterback tonight versus the Giants. Kyle Allen will serve as the backup to Russell Wilson. Fields' hamstring injury is a minor one, so the team is playing it safe to give him time to heal up with the bye week on deck. So, bye week coming up after this game. So, no Justin Fields as the backup quarterback, but you got Kyle Allen in there. So, again, prepared enough to beat the Giants at least. Other inactives for this game so far, we got outside of Justin Fields, who's technically the 3rd string quarterback, really. He's not out of it. He's in there. He's the emergency quarterback. Center Zach Frazier, running back, kick returner Cordell Patterson, offensive linebacker, outside, I said offensive, tired, y'all. Outside linebacker Nick Herbig and cornerback CJ Henderson. They're all the inactives for the Steelers tonight. And looking looking at the Giants inactives. I'm seeing that the Giants posted they already have. Giants inactives for the night are punter Jamie Gillian, cornerback Adoree Jackson, who's been out for a while, cornerback Cordell Flott, linebacker Ty Summers, and everybody's favorite backup quarterback Tommy DeVito. He's third string emergency quarterback. If all goes like I think it will, it's going to be a shit show. And I don't know why anybody in their mind would put money on the Giants tonight, but the game's in Pittsburgh, so I definitely don't got the Giants winning. Nonetheless, though, I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna have a nice little video basically talking about that. But before I wrap this episode up, I wanted to talk about something that was kind of crazy today that kind of got dropped mid-afternoon. I thought was kind of hilarious. Anthony Richardson's comments about his decision to exit the game and tapping out, and man, it cracks me up, man. It cracks me up. You got guys speaking out on it. You got Shane Steichen pretty much saying they're not sure if he's going to be the starter next week. You got Ryan Kelly very much saying that's not the standard. I have the quotes and comments here, so you guys can definitely read that and go over it. But more or less, Anthony Richardson might have played his well self out of a starting quarterback position in Indianapolis. But that's going to do it for the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast, guys. I'll definitely catch up with you after the Monday Night Football game. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Rest of your week. Work week, weekend. Some of you, I know some of my people are going on vacation. I heard from some fans on the show. Enjoy. But nonetheless, take care and enjoy that game tonight.